Breaking news at noon, St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is going to jail. Our Mark Maxwell just walked out of the courtroom. Mark, will he remain in house arrest until his trial?
Yeah, Paul, good afternoon. You're right. We're just outside the federal courthouse here, and that's where the surprising developments just unraveled moments ago. Federal marshals are taking Sheriff Montgomery into custody as we speak. That was the shocking turn of events his lawyers did not see coming. They were here on a bond revocation hearing. You'll recall it was last week, late last week, that federal prosecutors unsealed new indictments, new federal criminal charges against the sheriff, alleging that he had retaliated or tampered with witnesses in the federal misdemeanor case. We now know that prosecutors have found evidence and they had a pretrial services officer. That's the person at the court who basically looks over your bond, goes through to make sure that you're not violating the terms of your release. And that person was called to testify under oath. That was a significant turning point in this case because that pretrial services officer painted Sheriff Alfred Montgomery as combative. The judge said cagey, getting into spats over whether or not he tested positive for marijuana, for example, or giving different and inconsistent numbers of how many handguns, rifles, and assault rifles he had in his possession that he had to hand over while he's under this criminal case. But we now know there was a third piece here, an alleged burner phone. After the judge told Sheriff Montgomery, you're being charged with a federal misdemeanor, you cannot have any contact with witnesses or victims in this case. After he received those clear instructions in this federal courthouse, Montgomery went out and, according to prosecutors, obtained a burner phone, then used that phone to make those comments that we reported just last week, the comments where he mentioned wanting to take negative action, adversarial employment action against some of the different witnesses he thought were, quote, snakes in his office. Then the pretrial services office said that he wanted to, quote, punch someone and knock them out in this phone call. That's a recording that prosecutors played for this pretrial services officer in court. At the end, the judge looked for ways to create alternatives to sending the sheriff to jail. Maybe there could be some kind of a committee at the sheriff's office that would make employment decisions, and they would basically disempower the sheriff from taking any kind of retaliatory action. But in the end, the judge didn't trust the independence of that committee or didn't think that the existence of that committee would alone stop the sheriff from still taking other circuitous routes around that committee to express himself or to violate the terms of his release. So again, the stunning moments just now, Sheriff Alfred Montgomery heading for federal custody. And one other stunning confession here, Paul. We know that Sheriff Montgomery's own lawyers confessed in court that if he is sent to jail, it's hard, if not impossible, for him to continue in his role as sheriff. What that likely means is that we could see the Attorney General in state court, a separate case, file a new motion asking that judge for a fifth consecutive time to expel this sheriff from office. That would be a permanent action. This trial still now ongoing, and he's still presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. His lawyers are now leaving the court, Paul, so we could perhaps get some sound and reaction from these lawyers. Would you like us to do that live here on this live stream, or how would you like us to do that? I'm told, yeah, we're going to just wrap it up here. We'll get some sound from Sheriff Montgomery's lawyers here. We'll have that for you. But for now, live outside the courthouse, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. We will check in, absolutely talk to some folks there. And yes, the sheriff will remain in custody until his trial.